we all have systems. We have raised in family. Family has systems. Family had hegemony. Family has culture. So human society, as it is, as it's constructed, usually are based on some kind of systems. What are like culturally based or biases, demeanors, whatsoever. So doesn't context creates difference? Because from my perspective, I love word system. The question is, does system end result is like worker for factory, or end result is happy person who is like free and thinking for himself about exploring what is out of the cave?
Yeah, let's say context makes it different. But as you say, in my perspective, systems are always the same. And how can I explain this? For example, Finland, a liberal democracy, as part of the liberal democratic world order that is well portrayed by United Nations, but it's much more than that. Okay, even now we can see how this dispute is still in place, with the prolongation of the Cold War that we thought that was over, but but there is some kind of dispute on that. So the liberal order from that Finland represents believes in a certain kind of development. This development is carried through and developed through economy. Country, I mean, conceptually, liberal democracies defend that a country that is able to produce and to economically develop, this country will never have problems. And more than that, it says that every individual living in this country will always have better conditions of life if the country keeps doing with the economic development. So what Finland makes is to register their learners into the corporative market, create the conditions for the learners to participate in this economic development in order for them to get more conditions and for the country as overall get more conditions. So basically, educations in liberal democracies, they are economic centric. Okay, what we call
labor market centric, kind of that.
They want you to basically the final aim is to put you in the labor market. And when you are in the labor market, there are other educational concerns. But the process of education is done. It was successful if you enter in your labor market. It doesn't matter if you learn something. It doesn't matter that if you learn what you wanted to learn. It doesn't matter anything of that matters. What matters is that you become a part of the whole that is the economical development. So there is a different approach perhaps in North Korea. I don't know. Perhaps it is, for example, the militarization of young people. I don't know. I'm just supposing. But that is change. That is different between Finland and North Korea. What is not different is that education still serves a purpose that is bigger than the learner. Bigger and smashes completely the aspirations of the learner. Smashes in the sense that the aspirations of the learner don't matter at all. It doesn't matter, for example, if the learner, instead of participating in the development of economy, wants to question the development of the economy, and more than that, wants to transform the model of development of economy. It doesn't matter if the learner questions the model of work that puts the learner from 8 to 5 in a certain job that he or she doesn't want to have. It doesn't matter if the learner has some sort of proposal, some sort of alternative, some sort of imaginary that wants to be that he or she wants to construct in order to create a radical transformation towards everyone is seeing as something wrong. I don't know, perhaps the job market is changing from 15, 20 years until now. We now have different phenomena like the digital nomads or the telework. There are many things that are changing in work, which I would say they create more flexibility, at least in many cases. In other cases, not like that, but at least they create more options to some people. But still, we still need to have a wage, a form of income in order to access what we now call human rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we might say that is a very important document, and I do say that. It is a very important document that was an achievement from liberal democracies. Still, it is a document that says also, here is your shopping list, because without money, you will not access these human rights.
Okay, so
and I'm talking.
So the thing, what I understand, just to summarize, do I understand it correctly, that instead of not just only going as education, the tool for preparing us for labor market, we have to take care about what a human being itself wants. And it can be whatever it can be, right? It can be myriad of opportunities and wishes and dreams and whatsoever, kind of that. Not to just structurize this person, this human being, in terms of habits, skills, and something like that, just for the labor market, right?
Yes. What we have now in education is a tool for alienation. Okay, it's continuous alienation in a certain proposal of reality and a certain proposal of living life.
Okay,
we are alienating.
Sorry, what is opposite of alienating from reality? What, in your terms?
Liberating. If people, instead of being proposed to be alienated in a certain prescribed reality, prescribed path of life, if they are proposed to question the prescription of that way of life, only there you'll start having a different education.
Wonderful. Sergio, I will throw you one idea that comes to mind when I'm thinking about that, because from my perspective, education should serve for three purposes, three goals. One, to learn about yourself, who you are, what you want to be. So this is the first person kind of task of education. It is mindfulness, emotional intelligence, a bit of spirituality. Who am I? What I want to do? And it includes some kind of questioning where I am, what do I want to do? Second one is preparing for family life, whatever family you want to have, because family is such a huge skill set what you need to have in terms of communication, in terms of empathy, blah, blah, blah. And third is labor market. So those three aspects, what I would say is really important in terms of your concept of radical education. How does it work like that, or well, you can crash me, whatever. You just be straight. Be radical.
No, I think it's nice to have these principles. Okay, I think it's good because they make us think and they help us to reflect about what is good, what is wrong with education. I would say that registering people in the labor market would not be a principle that I will take. Why? Because I will be more concerned in questioning the labor market. So I will not start by saying, so what would you like to do in the labor market? I will start by asking, how would you like to question the labor market? Or I'll say, what do you feel about the labor market? Okay. And from that, we can start the construction of other imaginaries. And the imaginary, for example, where a world without labor market exists. Okay? Where a world where people don't have necessarily income to access their human rights. Human rights are accessed in other way. The problem is that because we don't we cannot imagine such things because we are looking to what we call structural things, hegemonies. We don't even think that education would be useful in doing this kind of task. And this is, I would say, in most of the minds of who designs educational policies and who implements them as well. Of course, you can do different approaches, as I was saying before. You can have different methodological approaches, but in the end, the result, we often divide formal education and non-formal education. But many of the things that non-formal education are doing, the final aim, is also making people more included in the job market, making people more productive in the economic development of a certain state, making people more, I would say, increasing the performance of people in the tasks that are being prescribed by the state, or So I think that what we are doing with the different methodologies might be exactly the same. Okay, some of the methodologies are perhaps more humane, are more funnier, are more so to say careful. They have more quality, but still, in the end, the aim would be exactly the same.